Good morning, everybody. Another Wednesday morning. You know what that means. Another edition of Come On Ref. I'm your host, Bryan. I'm in person today with my man, Aidan Vance.
Yeah, big time, baby.
Man, so
happy,
listen,
happy to be here.
I love being here, man. It's so nice to talk sports in person. It's cool on the computer, don't get me wrong, but I like my house, man. I like not going anywhere. But listen, we got a great show for you today, guys. Listen, baseball starts tomorrow. You have no idea how happy I am. The Cavs are going to get to 50 wins. They're going to do something they haven't done since 1998. But first, man, what happened this weekend? Literally, what happened? I had no power most of the weekend. I couldn't even watch. What happened?
Madness.
Man.
Miami comes back against Texas. UConn kind of just handles business against Gonzaga.
I feel like the one thing that I said might happen actually has happened.
Yeah,
right.
One Final Four team.
We're gonna forget about Purdue. Don't.
I know we made fun of you for Purdue, but only one of us got a team in there. And
boil her up, man. Boil her up.
Boil
her down.
Yeah, but then Florida Atlantic's just a Cinderella story. I guess in a room full of Cinderellas, they're the biggest Cinderella.
They're the biggest Cinderella.
They have the biggest foot.
Yeah, they've got the crookedest number by their name, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I hear it. So what do you think, man? Do you want to get into picks first? I mean, who do you think's gonna win this thing?
Okay, yeah, we can get into picks.
Let's just do that first.
How do you feel? Every pick we've made so far. I mean, we said, after last week, we were like, Bama will win the thing.
Man, it's going real bad for us, man. Real bad.
Like, okay, Bama will win it. They're the best team. We think that's how to go. Oh, and Texas is pretty good. They both lost.
Yeah, but Houston, without a doubt, will get there to match. They're gone.
No doubt. Yeah, the 2-1 seeds, we guessed, with the 2-1 seeds. Exactly. But I would guess UConn to win it. My matchup, I really want Florida Atlantic just to be there.
Yeah.
I think that would
be if they get another call down the stretch.
Yeah, maybe. It has to go their way.
I did see that.
It has to go their way. It has to go their way.
It does.
I think San Diego State's defense, top 10 defense, I think that would be a little tough for them.
Yeah.
But
both those teams actually defend really well.
Yeah.
Both. Florida Atlantic just shoots the three so well.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem for San Diego State. I think San Diego State wants to keep that game slow.
No doubt.
And Florida Atlantic does not want to do that, man. They're going to want to run. They're going to get out in transition, score some points that way.
Yeah.
It should be fun to watch. We'll see if they can. San Diego State got here with a huge defensive stand.
Oh, no doubt.
In that game, we'll see if they can do that to Florida Atlantic. I don't know. We'll see.
They got there on that and a little.
I don't want to predict anything. We'll just watch.
And a little shove on a floater.
Yeah.
Some people didn't
questionable
like
call.
Other people did.
I think that referee watched the Super Bowl, and I think the first thought that went through his head is, I gotta let him play here. I can't blow a whistle here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree, but like we said before, a foul's a foul, or a penalty is a penalty.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's game one or I hear it.
But it's always tough. As if you were a player, you would be like, we're calling that right now.
Right. Of course you want it if you're it depends on which side you're on. But Florida 35-3. I mean, they can run with anybody, right?
Oh, I mean, obviously they've shown they can. The Final Four.
Right.
Right.
Don't forget though, San Diego State was 30-2 a couple years ago during the COVID year. Before they were going to be a 1 seed.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean,
San Diego State has been good for the past 3-4 years.
Hey, quick fun fact about San Diego State. I want to bring this up too. I was looking at some of their career leaders because I go down the rabbit hole.
No doubt.
Do you know who's fourth on their all-time assist list?
Can I get a hint?
I mean, he played baseball. Great little slap hitter. Probably could have hit some more home runs in his career. Pinstripes.
I'm not sure.
Friars, Fathers, think Padres. Tony Gwynn, man. Tony Gwynn is fourth on the all-time assist list. Yeah. That's the only place he ends up on any all-time anything list.
Wow.
But yeah, man, Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
So I thought that was a fun fact. Man. Tying in the baseball opening day stuff with March Madness, I had to do it.
Yeah. All I know about San Diego State really is they had Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
Who went in the first round, but he's kind of in and out. But not much about their basketball team. I know they've had decent basketball teams in the past.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Tony Snell went there, if I'm not mistaken. Who was an NBA player.
Yeah.
Has one of the most famous stat lines of all time, the 0-0-0-0-0 game with 30-something minutes.
Making an impact, man. I love it.
He was just getting his cardio in out there, and but
you gotta get your cardio in. That's important.
Yeah, that's about all I know about San Diego State. But I know this team is really good defensively.
Yeah.
If you go look at that team, I think you would be like, oh, this is a football team because their dudes are built like.
Yeah, they're tough, man. I mean, they play a tough style too. I was gonna say that. Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
So that's good. They're physically imposing. That's going to be,
no doubt about it.
It's like everybody wants 90s basketball, right?
Yeah.
They want it back, right? The Knicks, the Pistons, you got it, man. So watch San Diego State.
No doubt.
Listen, Miami and UConn. 4 seed versus 5 seed here. Miami's the 5, UConn's the 4. UConn doesn't look like a 4 seed anymore. I mean, they look like a solid 1. They look like they look like the overall 1, don't they?
They look like the best team left. Yeah. They do. But I also think Miami, like I think these probably would, if they were on opposite sides of the bracket, I probably would have this as a championship game.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
But yeah, I think UConn. But then when we say stuff, it just never.
When we say UConn will be the first team to not score in a Final Four game, right? Yeah.
But yeah, UConn looks like the best team. They got Cedric Hawkins, who probably isn't their best player in college. It's probably Sanogo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He averages 17, 7 rebounds. Cedric averaged about 16, but he translates more to the NBA, I would guess.
Well, they've got the 7-footer underneath too.
Yeah.
I want to hitch my wagon to the big guy in the middle, but you know what happened to me with Zach Edey and Purdue.
Don't do that.
But I still am going to pick UConn because they were my team. They're 29-8, started 14-1, on fire, number 2 in the nation. It looked like they were going to be an easy number 1 overall seed. I mean, even the overall 1. Alabama kind of obviously stayed consistent. UConn didn't. But they figured it out. They started to show some signs at the end of the regular season of kind of getting things back together. I'm hitching my wagon to UConn. It's going to happen. They're going to be the first team to not score in a Final Four because I picked them.
But it's fine. It's March Madness is a crazy thing because the best team may not win.
No,
it's just who might be the hottest, or you might have a bad shooting night. It's one game elimination. That's what makes it madness because you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Listen, is there more parity in college basketball now?
Then I would say yes. Than earlier on, in the one and done era when it was mostly just like, okay, UNC, Duke, and Kentucky are getting one and dones, and
then somebody else, some Cinderella, but it was like a 5 seed. That was a Cinderella story before. I can remember distinctly when George Mason made the Final Four. It was an 8 or a 9 seed. And we were shocked. It was like, a mid-major little and we've got, we almost had a 15 seed. Princeton almost had a shot to sneak into,
I think that happens often. You see 16 seed win a couple times.
Yeah.
Now,
it's happened. We used to say it would never happen. Now it's happened twice.
And I just think
it hit home very personally for me. Because I'm a newfound Purdue fan, and
I think things are just changing, and how styles matter more than anything else now because there's good players everywhere. Like the skill level, just in general, of player is more on par with each other than it's probably been in the past. Because it's just how evolution works. Skill level goes up.
Yeah, I think a little bit it's the social media effect too, because now guys have the ability to get themselves out there. Before, if you didn't make a name for yourself at a larger program, you might not have gotten noticed. You might have gone to it. Not even a mid-major. You might have played Division II or junior college, Division III, whatever. Now guys they're more readily available. They're seen. They can get their information, the video out at a very, very young age. I mean,
no doubt.
It doesn't take much you could be in 5th, 6th grade now and make a highlight video of yourself. I mean, there's ways.
The guy sorry, I'm forgetting his name, from Fairleigh Dickinson, who had a good game that Edey was guarding, was actually a D2 guy with Tobin Anderson.
Yeah.
Before he got the Fairleigh Dickinson job, and congrats on getting the Iona job, making a lot more money than he's ever made. So,
and I know the guy. I can picture him running Edey all over the floor, but I can't remember his name.
Made some big shots down the stretch. Made a big 3, I think, to put him up 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He was a D2 guy, and then he came with Tobin and ended up working out. Obviously, they were a smaller team that just played 5 out. You don't see that much in college.
Yeah.
Styles make fights sometimes.
It's true. And I think experience. We're seeing a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of these teams have, a 5th-year senior leader, a 4th-year junior. Miami's got guys that have been, not necessarily in the Miami program, not with the Hurricanes, but they've been in college basketball for 2, 3, 4 years. Do you think that makes a difference against UConn? I mean, UConn's got some younger guys. They're a little bit of a mix, but not quite as experienced as far as years in college.
I don't that much because I do think
there's a talent gap.
There's a little bit of a talent gap, and they are physically developed. Like some teams that are younger have a physical development situation where it's just like they're just not as physically developed as everybody else,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But
Right.
they are there. Cedric Hawkins, I think, is going to be close to a first round pick this year. Maybe he comes back and is a lottery pick next year.
Yeah.
So you see guys like that, and you're not that worried about that.
That's a bigger decision, by the way, in the NBA, I think, than it is in the NFL. Or I think that's a bigger decision.
Obviously, Miami has a guy that's 6'7", 250.
But he plays like he's 7 feet tall. He's unbelievable. He's a monster on the boards, man. You're talking about. I gotta look up his name. I'm not sure. Norchad. Yeah. Yes. I heard a funny story too about him when they were asking him how he ended up here. The guy's personality is great, apparently. He was making a joke that he came into Mexico somehow, and I guess he was making a tall joke. He said he walked across the river to get to the United States, and I guess the press was like looking at him like they were in awe of his story, and he starts busting up on that's not how he got here. But I mean, personalities sometimes I think can
no doubt.
You see that emerge too. I mean, when a team's close and they're having fun, it's a lot easier to win, man. Winning's fun. It's fun to win. It goes hand in hand,
Yeah, let's give a shout out to some players. Who do you think are the best players on each team?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Florida Atlantic, I think John L. Davis.
Yeah.
Gary, Indiana, I think it's
almost 14 a game.
Yeah, I think for them it's pretty obvious. But again, you never know. A team that likes to run the way that they do.
That could be an unsung hero.
Yeah, anybody could. You forget about a guy in transition, a guy that puts up 20 real quick on you. It can happen.
Easily.
So it can happen. And I know San Diego State is going to be obviously cognizant that they're a good defensive team.
Right.
I don't know how their transition defense is, honestly. I haven't seen any numbers on it.
But they do pick up pretty early with Trammell.
Yeah. We're going to find out Saturday.
And Lamont Butler and guys like that. But we'll see. Miami, I think it's a two-horse race for who's the best player. I think they're pretty close. With Isaiah Wong, he's their leading scorer. 4 rebounds again. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. I think he's close to leading them in assists, if not leading them in assists too.
Yeah, Jordan Miller's right there too.
There.
5th year in college. Again, the experience.
Yeah, no charge.
Wong's 4th year.
Home year, 13 and 10 a game.
And Miami's a team that used the transfer portal a little bit. Like I said, not some of their guys didn't.
I agree.
Didn't grow up as Hurricanes, but they're here now. And they're coming of age. So.
Yeah. UConn, we talked about Sanogo. I think 17 and 7.
Yeah.
Pretty. I mean, he's their most dominant player. Obviously, Cedric averages 16, right?
Yep.
Who'd you have for San Diego State? Because that was the hardest one for me to pick.
To me, I think it's Matt Bradley.
12
the senior out of San Bernardino. Yeah, I think he's the kind of the leader on the floor. Again, senior. Senior leader. I think he had their season. He scored 27 points against Air Force back in December. He can fill it up. He leads them in free throw percentage, over 80% from the free throw line, which maybe 80% isn't top tier, but it's the best they have.
In college, that's
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
San Diego State was tough for me because even he's the leading scorer. He averages 12 a game.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys. I went with Lamont Butler.
Okay.
The guard.
Okay. He was definitely one of my, Trammell and Butler they play over 900 minutes. 900 minutes total for the season, so they're in there.
He averages 8 a game, which is, I think it's top 5 on their team, which is not saying obviously a crazy amount, but averages the most assists.
Yeah.
Over a steal a game. So I went with him. I think he's a really good defender too. I think he guards 1 through 3 in college. I know he's only 6'2", but he's like 200 pounds. He's kind of a bulldog, so he does a good job of guarding. So that's
how tough they are. Yeah.
That's what I went with.
Yeah, and I think, well, it's interesting. One thing I was going to bring up too. Both these teams basically use a full 9-man rotation.
No doubt.
Obviously, Florida Atlantic has to. The way they run, you want to keep legs fresh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be interesting. I mean, San Diego State by that token is going to have some fresh legs on defense as well to match up with them. So
yeah, and it's easier, I feel like, to translate defense into games like these in the big arenas, right? Where,
yes. We've talked about it. Yeah.
There's a nervous factor. There's a depth perception factor of shooting at least the first 10 minutes at least.
Yep. Some teams never get over it.
Yeah, and some teams never get over it. And if like we said, San Diego State's kind of some bullies. If they can bully their way inside and just lay the ball up, that's a lot easier than shooting 3. So
absolutely.
If Florida Atlantic comes out and they're not shooting it great, it could be rough for them the rest of the way. And we'll see what happens. I think that Miami-UConn game is going to be a heavyweight fight.
I think so too. think so too. I think a lot of people are maybe writing off Miami because they're not a traditional basketball school. But I mean, I think we've seen from the Final Four.
Yeah.
What does that matter anymore?
And even their girls made it far.
Yeah.
I could give a shout out to maybe the most entertaining, since we're talking college basketball, the most entertaining college basketball player, and it may be just entertaining basketball player in the country right now. Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
She had a 41-point triple-double for Iowa, the number 2 seed. They're in the Final Four.
Yep.
I think they're playing Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. They're playing LSU.
She is. She's the Steph Curry of the women's college game, right? I mean, she's
unbelievable. She is
every bit as fun to watch.
Every bit as fun to watch. She shoots from half court. She's the best passer in college basketball. I mean, she is ridiculous, man. And watching her, I mean, she was telling the one girl, "You're down 15, shut up," just having fun. So
every time I feel like every time I see her, she's smiling. I mean, like a big smile on the phone. I love to see that.
Last year they were the number 2 seed and lost to the 15, and now they're in the Final Four.
Yeah.
And she's only a junior. She could come back. She shoots it 40. Like, I know she shoots from half court and everything. 47% from the field, 39% from 3. She's a different breed, man. And
maybe we'll break down the women's championship next week, man. Let's take a look at it.
No doubt.
I'd love to.
I have a weird suspicion somehow that the best coach in women's basketball, Don Staley in South Carolina, the best team, will probably be there with the number 1 pick, Aaliyah Boston.
Kind of feels like it, right?
And shout out Zaya Cook from Toledo, Ohio. She's the best. Maybe the best just hooper.
You know where she went to school? You know what school she went to?
No.
I don't offhand. I was asking.
It was in Toledo.
Yeah.
I saw her Final Four game in high school, and I was like, oh, I can't guard her. And that's when I started humbling myself on who I think I could be in a basketball game. These girls will kill you. Like Caitlin Clark will kill you. Aaliyah Boston, all these girls playing D1 basketball will kill you. So,
absolutely.
My sister might kill some of y'all, but I'll leave that.
I'd love to talk like I could play anybody one-on-one in the world, but I mean, the reality is there are so many people that would just smoke me on the court.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, no doubt about
Women,
it.
men, children. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I'd just like to give her a shout out, show some love to women's basketball. It doesn't get talked about as much, but
we're gonna do it next week. We're gonna talk about the women's Final Four. We're gonna go over it. Yeah,
I do think Caitlin Clark has just brought some more eyes to it. Like people have talked about it more, and it's been more love instead of just like the hate comments under the post when they post about it. It's been more like, oh, like she's the one. Yeah. She's the chosen one, right? So I love that.
I think that attitude again, it's just contagious. I think you can feel it through the TV. You can feel it in the arena. You can watch a minute and a half TikTok video and feel it. I mean, she's got contagious energy. Man, speaking of contagious energy, bro, look, man, it's baseball season tomorrow. Baseball is back. Baseball is back.
Can you guys tell this is Chad's favorite sport?
Man, I'm so energized. I got to watch Ken Griffey Jr. taking BP at the World Baseball Classic. Like, I feel like he could still play. Still get paid. Might as well play, right?
What is he? Top 5 highest paid player on Cincinnati right now?
The top 3. He's the 3rd highest paid. Yeah, and $3.5 million he'll make this year. He's got that Bobby Bonilla money coming in, man.
Oh yeah.
Every year in July, I celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day. He's still getting paid for the Mets. Played 50,000 years ago, and he's still getting money. So I think what we want to get into a little bit is just a couple things to mention with the Guardians too. Andres Gimenez signed an extension.
Big time.
Yeah, 7 years, $106.5 million, I think it was.
I think he's already probably close to one of the best second baseman in
middle infielders. We'll call him middle infielders.
Middle infielders in MLB. As a young guy who has good speed, hit close to 300 this year.
Yeah.
Showed a decent amount of power actually. I think he could be a 20, 25 home run a year guy.
Yeah.
He bats 5th for us most of the time. Lefty out of the box, which is a little different. He has good speed on the base pass, and his glove is nasty, man.
Yeah, he's a really, really good player. I think a lot of his value lies in, I don't know if you've seen it, he's got a really nice, balanced swing. He's just really consistent through the zone. I think that lends to just consistency and contact. I don't want a bunch of guys striking out, especially for this Guardians team.
Yeah,
you're not going to have a ton of guys hitting 30 or 40 home runs. You don't want a bunch of strikeouts. You want your Stephen Quants, right?
Oh yeah.
Not your I would say Mike Trout because of Shohei Ohtani, the World Baseball Classic. He's not strikeout prone. We don't want to do that. Sorry again, Nate. It's my cousin Nate. He's going to be watching. He doesn't like the Angels slander. I can tell you that.
But is it slander? But because we're talking about Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani's going to leave you guys. I'm sorry to say that because you're not paying him $600 million. But It's okay.
The thoughts and opinions expressed by Aidan are not my own.
But that's not an opinion that's going to happen.
No, that's a fact. You're right. That's a fact. He's not staying there. I don't see any way they can keep him. And even though the Angels have ridiculous Disney money, I don't think they can keep him in the field of baseball team.
I don't think Ohtani truly would want to stay there.
No, I don't think he does.
I think he wants to.
I'm sure the nice guy he is, I'm sure he would tell you he absolutely loves it there. I don't think he stays. But again, Guardians. Tristan McKenzie's out a couple weeks here. I wanted to mention that too. Yeah,
he's got. I think.
Or issuing bad news.
I love Tristan.
Yeah.
When he's at his best, he's almost unhittable.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
He's just a guy, man, and he came back off an arm injury where, if you guys remember early in his career, he was probably throwing 97, 98 when he first came in. A little less control, got a little hurt. Came back throwing more 94, 95.
A little better command.
He's special. I think
absolutely
he's a Cy Young type guy at some point in his career, right?
Yep.
We already have Bieber, who's technically a Cy Young winner. I know it's the shortened season where people always say, "Oh, but Bieber breaks down over the second half of the year."
It's okay.
I mean, he's still a really good pitcher.
We'll see.
I just, I now I got to watch Gaddis pitch the second game and watch Julio Rodriguez hit 470 against them.
That's possible. It's very possible.
It's just
very possible. Yeah, I know, man. Well, that's enough bad news. Who do you have? Who are your division winners, man? Do we want to go that far ahead?
Yeah, might as well. Right?
I mean, we're almost at the end of the season. We only have 162 to go.
Might as well pick our winners.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's start in the AL East. Who you got?
In the East, I got the Blue Jays.
Okay.
A little bit of an upset.
You don't like the Yankees adding Carlos Rodon to Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge and.
There's a chant my friend does about the Yankees that I can't say on the air, but
we'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah.
That'll be Come On Ref after hours.
Yeah. It's hard. I just think that in a regular season, the Blue Jays might get them. I'm not saying they'll get them in a playoff series or maybe in their season series. I don't know if they'll win.
Okay. See, I think it's the exact opposite. I think the Yankees are built for 162. But not necessarily a short series. And I know that sounds crazy because they've got Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, but sometimes, listen, in New York in October, it's really hard to hit the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the
power goes away a little bit, right?
No,
the ball flies in July and August,
but
not so much in October.
But the thing is, what if Aaron and Giancarlo and all those guys start off slow to start the year?
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, it could happen. You don't usually come off a season like Aaron Judge had and just be the same, right? It never works like that in baseball.
No. Baseball's a humbling sport. Baseball, you can see a guy hit 360 with 50 home runs and come back the next year and hit 240 with 15. I mean, it can happen. It can surely happen.
So we'll see.
Let's go.
I don't feel confident in my Blue Jays.
Okay, that's fine. Let's come back home. Let's go to the AL Central. Okay, let's go to our little region of the country.
You know where that's at.
Who you got, man? Twins?
Don't make. I'll walk out.
No. Yeah, the Twins aren't going to win that. I think the Guardians win that division. Actually, pretty easily.
The Twins, it seemed like the Guardians last year had a little bit of a spell over the Twins, it would look like.
Yeah. They've had it for years.
Yeah, we're up on those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the game that the Guardians came back and won when it was like 5-0 or something in the last 2 innings?
Yeah. The Guardians have been doing that to every team from the AL Central for years. It's been bizarre.
They're kind of like
Detroit the 1 year. They were 15-1 against Detroit the 1 year.
They're kind of like the boogeyman at AL Central. I think they have the most complete starting rotation, I would probably say.
Yeah.
And they
White Sox are pretty good, but they lost for Dome.
And I think they have the best high-end guys also.
Yeah, oddly. Here we are in a small market saying we can't keep our guys, and we just signed Jimenez to an extension. By the way, listen, I hope we don't have any Mets fans watching, but the Guardians won that trade.
Oh, yeah.
Did they not?
They won the Lindor trade with getting Rosario and Jimenez. And
I mean, please, if you comment, prove me wrong. I mean, tell me.
No doubt. But
I don't see how the Mets win that trade.
I just don't think that's a win for them.
No.
They didn't win it in any way.
Jimenez is 24.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's got the better upside, and that sounds crazy. But Lindor, I think, has maybe hit a little bit of a plateau.
It plateaued, and I don't know. I think he started chasing home runs a little too much instead of hitting for contact.
maybe.
But Lindor's glove is still ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
believe me, I'm a Braves fan, and the Mets scare me.
Yeah.
We'll get to that division in a minute, but yeah, Edwin Diaz going down makes a huge difference. But the Mets are a really, really good team. I mean, top 5 in baseball.
No doubt.
So yeah, they're for sure. I mean, Lindor obviously is a factor. I don't want to say he's not a great player.
Yeah.
But I just think long term going forward, I think the Guardians win that trade.
I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
I think they come out on top of that trade, especially with Jimenez developing into an all-star, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, I think getting Josh Bell, adding power.
Yes. Josh Bell is a huge sign. Huge sign.
Oscar Gonzalez, I mean, the dude hits stuff pretty much off the plate, like 120 miles off the wall. So, just get his launch angle a little better, and he'll probably hit 30, 35 home runs. He's a huge dude with power.
Keep letting him go gap to gap. That's fine too.
Yeah, and I just think, Class A closing, I always feel confident in that. And this is a good roster. You got Quan leading it off, So obviously one of the best players in the MLB plays for us. And I don't know how we got him to stay here, Jose.
Hey, take it.
So
it's a lovable place, man.
Yeah. So
I like being here. I do want to say about the Guardians, I worry. I don't worry. I'm a little concerned about the middle of their bullpen.
Yeah, me too.
I think if they can consistently get to the 8th inning late in the season, October, they're going to be fine with Karinchak and Clase coming out. Something to stay healthy, but I worry about the middle of the bullpen. It's that for me, the playoff games is that 5th, 6th, and 7th day. Who's going to pitch those innings? And you'll settle into some kind of a comfort zone with guys throughout the season, but that comfort zone also requires those guys getting guys out.
It's a little tough. Stefan, I like a decent amount, but everybody in the bullpen except even Karinchak was inconsistent. Everybody except for Clase was inconsistent at one point.
Yeah. How nice would it be to have Andrew Miller back in his prime on this team?
Unbelievable.
Maybe the one piece that gets this team over the top.
But the good thing is that in the playoffs you can go to 3 starters and bring your last 2 starters from the bullpen. Yeah. And
you can stretch out innings that way for sure.
So agreed. You got a chance. But
agreed. But that's enough. Let's switch out to the let's go to the division that nobody watches on the East Coast. Okay. Not because we don't want to, because we can't. I mean, games start so late. The AL West. Who's winning that division? Yeah. I mean, the Mariners could compete. I think they'll be close. By close, I mean within 10 games.
I know we're not talking about this, but I think the Mariners will have a decent chance at a wild card.
Yeah, I think they'll win the wild card for sure. They're a wild card team. I don't think they can win the West. I think they will compete. I think the Angels might sneak into a wild card spot. I know we weren't going to do the wild cards, but I think the Angels might be better than you think. They've quietly added some bullpen pieces.
Are you trying to give your?
I am. I'm trying to give them a reason to keep watching, man. To keep watching this thing. Like and subscribe, comment, share. Digitally hug our show, please. I think that honestly, I think they can win a wild card. They have to stay healthy. A lot of things have to go right, and I mean, a lot of things have to go right for them to win 84, 85 games. You know what I mean? Like they're not a 90-win team at all.
Lord have mercy. It's crazy that they might have 2 of the top 5 players of all time in baseball and can't do anything.
It's wild. It's why they just can't find consistent pitching. And like I said, they've quietly been adding some bullpen pieces. We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on the AL West because is it even real out there?
No, it's not. I mean, Astros are probably going to go to the World Series somehow again.
Probably. And play my Braves.
Banging on the trash can. Yeah. Probably play the Dodgers.
You might be right about that. You might be right. No, Dodgers have all the money in the world. Speaking of my Braves, let's move on to the National League East, man. Who you got?
I'll give it to you. It's the Braves.
All right. You're not saying that because I'm in person, are you?
No.
If I was at home, you'd say the Mets, wouldn't you?
No.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm not that scared of you.
I don't blame you. I'm not.
They have my favorite player, Ronald Acuna.
Yes. Yes. I love watching Acuna play.
They're just good.
They're a fun team, man.
They're good.
They're a fun team.
Maybe if they could get Jazz over there somehow.
I would love to see Jazz Chisholm as in a Braves uniform. Are you kidding me?
Just get him anywhere from the Marlins.
Oh my goodness, man! Give me Tim Anderson while I'm at it too, man. We don't really have a shortstop. We got Orlando Arcia coming out of camp right now, man.
Well, you don't get everybody.
You don't want Tim Anderson in Atlanta?
You don't get everybody.
You're not concerned about my
Tim
happiness?
Anderson's a Chicago guy.
That's all right. He looked good in the Braves uniform, man. I love Tim Anderson.
Tim Anderson's that guy.
The NL Central, it's the Cardinals, right? there's not even a team that, I mean, who wins more than 75 games in the Central?
No, nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
That is the weakest division.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Maybe the Cardinals win that division with 83, 84 wins.
Yeah, it won't be crazy. They'll probably be I would guess maybe low 90s team. Then the NL West is, I feel like, pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think it could be a 2-team race, but again, it's one of those 2-team races where the Dodgers win by 10 games over the Padres, right?
Yeah, that roster and the money they spend is just like,
it's unbelievable.
You got Mookie.
Wait till they add Shohei.
They're gonna have Shohei. I'm sorry.
Wait till they add him. I mean, just wait.
I mean, they got Mookie. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mookie's one of the best players in the MLB.
Yeah.
I mean, they got guys everywhere.
I don't even know how you formulate a lineup with that team. Where do you put guys? Everybody can't hit third. I mean, what do you even do?
That team is ridiculous.
Let's just pretend we have Mookie Betts.
Yep.
Okay. Let's pretend we have Freddie Freeman. And let's pretend we have Shohei Ohtani in the same lineup. Who hits 2, 3, 4? Maybe leave Mookie Betts off.
Freddie hits 2.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I love that actually because Freddie uses the whole field, uses left field really well. I love that. Yeah.
Mookie hits 3.
Okay. You got Ohtani hitting cleanup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could do a crazy thing and leave one of them off. You can leave Ohtani off. You don't want to do that though because I think he's so good with runners on base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you put Ohtani at 4 and probably lead Trey and I think they hit Trey out of the 9-hole last year, but
yeah, I mean,
talk about getting on base and running.
And then he just goes and sets records in the World Baseball Classic. No problem. Just a 9-hole hitter for the Dodgers, just dominating the World Baseball Classic.
He's ridiculous, and obviously his speed on the base pass is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing about Jimenez too. His base running instincts.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's just so good at getting that quick jump off a pitcher. He steals more bases off of pitchers, I think, maybe than anybody in Major League Baseball.
He's really good.
Just the pure instinct.
I love the Guardians team this year, man.
They're really good. They're good. I mean, they're underrated. And it sounds crazy because everybody's picking them to win the division, so it sounds crazy to say they're underrated. But I feel like we just sometimes here in Cleveland we look at our own teams with a little bit of maybe earned shade, right? We sort of throw shade at our own team. We go, they're not gonna.
But I think that's the Browns' curse.
Maybe. Does it just rub off on the Guardians?
We don't really look at the Cavs like that. It's a football city. That just rubs off on everybody.
Yeah.
It just
You're right. You're right.
Draft coming up soon though.
Hey.
We'll see what happens there, but
absolutely.
Talking about Cleveland and moving on a little bit.
Yeah.
The Cavs kind of making history a little bit. Cavs history, not real NBA history.
But that's okay. It's Cavs history, man. They're gonna do something they haven't done since 1998. Tell me what it is.
Let's make the playoffs without LeBron James.
Man, do you remember what that's like?
I wasn't born in 1998.
Oh, that's right. I'm the old guy. I forgot. Okay, I remember what that was like because
I wasn't born in '98. I wasn't even a thought at that point. I think.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's okay. It's okay. We can move on because that was just after they invented dirt, so I remember it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who the leading scorer? Well, we don't talk about leading scorer. Who was our favorite player on that team, man? Who was our guy?
Was it Cal?
Oh man, well he was the leading scorer, but Big Z, man, that was Z's rookie year.
Z.
Is he the guy? Is he the one that pushed the franchise over the edge?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. His feet might have hung over the edge.
Yeah,
stood near it though. Yeah, they might have hung over.
Z was a good ball player, man.
He was. He averaged 13 points that year, man. As a 22-year-old for the playoff team, he played all 82 games.
Yeah, he averaged. He never was a big time player. He was probably the second best player on that team that LeBron took the finals in 07. Which isn't saying much.
No, it's not saying a whole lot. I mean, we love Zydrunas Ilgauskas, but
his competition was what? Eric Snow, Sasa Pavlovich.
Oof.
Drew Gooden.
It reads like a G League team.
But it's awesome, man. And how young and fun this team is. This core for the most part could be together forever. I know we got to re-sign Donovan in probably a couple years.
Nobody's gonna Kyrie it.
I don't know because here's the thing.
So,
and why they won't Kyrie it. The fact that our first All-Star for this was Darius Garland. I think that mattered a bunch.
Yeah.
I think because he is the culture guy to where, I'm okay deferring to this. I'm okay doing this.
Yeah.
And I think that was huge. I think he talks about the vibes all the time.
Yeah.
I think him being that guy, and then Evan Mobley coming in as a quiet guy, but it's like, oh my God, he can take us to a different level if he gets to where he's supposed to be, and he's kind of getting.
He's he's quietly progressing. And it's okay to do it under the shadow of some guys right now, because I think I've said it before. I think what you want is sort of that. I don't know if there's like you want Mobley and Mitchell's lines to kind of intercede, right? You don't want one to drop off and then Mobley to have to pick up. You want him to kind of.
And that's the great thing. Even on Mobley's had this jump, the past 2 months where he's averaging like 19 and 10 and should be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, but he's not getting anything because somehow playing 1,000 more minutes than Jaren Jackson Jr. and only having 12 more fouls than him the whole season because Jaren Jackson Jr. just chases blocks.
It's the Cleveland factor. I feel like sometimes we just we get brushed right over.
He's the best switch big in the NBA. Let me stop.
That's neither here nor there, right?
Let me stop.
But it is here and there. That's the thing. It is. That's all the here and there.
That Donovan in that stretch of him going up is still averaging 24. And that Garland was still averaging 22, and that Jarrett was still averaging 15. That shows that they can all play at this level. Wow, Karras has had his best month of the season. Karras LeVert. And I think they're hitting their stride at the right point. I know we lost Atlanta last night. Guess what? We had 9 players. We had 4 players out. So
hopefully Ricky Rubio starts kind of building up the legs into the playoffs a little bit.
I think Ricky Rubio. So here's how I'm going to kind of guess on the minutes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
We're talking playoff minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Garland and Mitchell are going to play probably close to 40, if not 40.
Yeah.
Mobley and Allen are also probably going to be around there, right?
High 30s at least.
High 30s.
Yeah.
Because you want at least 2 on the court at all times. You want one of Darius or Donovan. You want one of Mobley and Allen. And the way that's looked so far, I think it's been mostly Allen and Donovan, and then Garland and Mobley, right?
Yeah, and I think if you're going to play the Knicks, which it looks like they are, they're going to settle into that 4 seed and play the Knicks, which it looks like they have the 5 seed wrapped up. I mean, you got to think about how you slow Julius Randle down, right? How you keep him off the boards, how you keep him scoring.
We just talked about this dude as Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But you got to keep him fresh, and you got to keep. Okay, the fouls. All right, he's got. Okay, all right.
He doesn't foul.
Okay.
Verticality, switchy, can do it all. We're gonna stick Isaac Okoro on Jalen Brunson. He's our best perimeter defender, but I could see a scenario where Isaac Okoro is kind of playing 28 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And LeVert's playing like 32 because they respect him more as a shooter. He's a better creator.
Yeah.
Late shot clock situations.
Yeah. Okoro's an okay defender, not so much of a scorer.
No. Well, Okoro's very good on ball against guards, defender. But we have to go to the second round this year for it to be successful.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think it's not unreasonable to expect to win there. I don't think that's
no.
At all.
We are the better team than the Knicks.
How do you think it goes 7 though? Do you 6, 5 game? I mean, obviously, best case scenario they sweep them and get out of there, but that's not going to happen.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like New York.
Okay.
So I think they're a good team, but I don't like New York people.
So Cavs in 2.5 then.
I just don't like that. Like people talk about Cleveland and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't got cat-sized rats in your
subways.
But
shots fired.
But
again, thoughts and opinions. I can't even talk. He's got me so flustered over here, man.
But
they're not mine.
Julius Randle's a hooper sometimes, depending on the year.
Sometimes. 25 and 10's all right.
This year,
all right.
But last year he was flicking off the crowd because they were booing him for being bad.
Okay. So Cavs in 5 then. They might get 1 game, but then you get Julius Randle's head.
We're gonna get a gentleman's sweep. That's Cavs in 5.
Okay.
I'll call it that. Is that what I think is gonna happen? No, but I'm talking with my heart right now.
So if just worst case scenario, okay, I have to bring up the doom and gloom because we're Cleveland fans. If they lose this series to the Knicks, does it become the curse of not trading up to get RJ Barrett? Remember, everybody, Barrett was the guy, right? He didn't fall to him. I didn't have anything to trade up. They just brought. I mean, I don't know how they were going to get him, but they still take heat for not getting him. I don't understand that.
So RJ Barrett.
What if he has a huge series?
Yeah, but he's a decent player. He's nothing special.
No, he's not.
You know who we got in that draft?
Yeah.
Darius Garland.
Yeah, we're okay. The Cavs are okay.
I'm just.
But I'm telling you that. Listen, I know Cleveland fans, and if RJ Barrett has a big series and the Knicks win this thing, oh, should have done whatever we could to get Barrett. I know it's going to happen.
I know.
You know it's going to happen.
That's fine with me. That means they don't watch basketball. You know,
hindsight's always 20/20. It's always easy to say things like that after they happen. I don't think it's true for the record.
My least favorite group of Cleveland Cavs fans is the ones who don't pay attention the whole season.
Yeah.
And just start paying attention after the Browns, and then just take out all their frustration on the Cavs.
On every loss.
Oh my God, this team can't compete.
How do we lose to the Hornets? How do you lose to the Hawks?
We have 48 wins. We're going to have 50 wins this year, and our average age of a starter is 24 years old.
Let them develop. And I think the Cavs are kind of a team that sometimes with that inexperience, it comes hiccups, man. They seem to turn it on when they play a top tier team. I mean, you get a better effort.
You get close games in those situations. Obviously, we lose, but we're a year away from we are genuinely probably a year or two away from Evan Mobley being talked about as a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah, I think
that's a real conversation. He's gonna get to 20 a game, probably 9 or 10 rebounds, at least 20, right? He could go for more, and probably 2 blocks and a steal, and be maybe how people talk about AD for a while. It's like, oh, he's not winning Defensive Player of the Year, but he's the best defender in the NBA. I think that's how they'll talk about Mobley at some point.
Yeah, I hope so.
But I don't want he's young, he'll win so many Defensive Player of the Years. If he should win Defensive Player of the Year, because this is what they did to AD, and now he has no Defensive Player of the Years. Give him the Defensive Player of the Year if he earns it. Yeah. And I just want that to be clear. I'm not saying Jaren Jackson shouldn't win it.
Do you need some AD type games out of him to get deep into the playoffs?
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too.
But he's shown he can do that now.
Yeah. Within the framework of that team, which is important, I think.
But Donovan is a top 10 points per game scorer in the playoffs in NBA history. He's had multiple 50-point games. I know he beat a team as a rookie, the OKC Thunder, with Paul George and Russell.
Yeah.
So you get him, Garland. I think the Cavs already play a playoff style of basketball, which is more half court, slower pace, right? So it should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that plays into maybe that's favorable to them.
Yeah, I think
the experience factor again is going to be a thing.
No doubt. But I get Brunson has playoff experience.
Yeah.
A decent amount of the Knicks roster, I would say, has playoff experience, but they're also going through a little turmoil with Mitchell Robinson complaining on Snapchat.
Well, Emmanuel quickly just put up 40 the other night against.
Emmanuel quickly is a very good player off the bench. He's improved.
I was saying, do they have scoring depth? All of a sudden, it looks like they have some scoring depth.
Quentin Grimes is a good 3-and-D wing. Just a solid team.
So you're my basketball guy, man. Listen, I'm the baseball guy, I guess, right? You're the basketball guy. Let's just fast forward. Okay, the Cavs win their 50 games. Yep. We all, we throw the confetti. We're happy. They get to game 1 against the Knicks. What do we see in game 1? I mean, how does game 1 play out to you? What does it look like? Do they come out? Do they look tight? Do they look?
Some people will.
Yeah.
I know Allen's been in a playoff series before, and what he does is, I'm not saying it's simple. Obviously, he's an anchor of the defense and does a lot of things, right?
But he knows his role is well defined.
I think there's a chance that Darius could come out tight because he wants to prove that, obviously.
He's a volume scorer. He can be a volume scorer in the big time.
He can be scorer and you guys are talking about me and Jalen Brunson in the same breath. If I didn't have Donovan Mitchell with me, we wouldn't even be in the same conversation. I think there could be some of that.
But either with the Cavs, I don't think the Cavs will be the 4 seed either.
No doubt. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Just devil's advocate.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Mobley. I don't know, because Mobley's just so just straight face all the time.
Yeah, he's sort of quiet and hard to read.
He just gives, he's more he shows more emotion than a Kawhi, but he kind of gives off Kawhi fun guy vibes where it's just I just dunked on Nikola Jokic. It's
right.
High five.
Who has a better laugh, Kawhi or Mobley?
I don't even know if I've heard Mobley laugh, but he smiles and shows emotion a lot more than him. So,
okay, all right.
So I'll say Mobley.
Okay, so he's human. All right, he's human. All right.
I think Mobley could come out tight. Isaac probably will. LeVert's had playoff experience.
Yeah.
Ricky has had playoff experience. I think
pretty extensive. Yeah.
I think it's probably we're gonna go 7. There's gonna be 7 deep, and then there's gonna be an 8th guy depending on the game that gets 5 to 10 minutes. Maybe a Chetty to see if he's shooting it well.
Okay, so you played right into my hand because I'm gonna ask you this: does Donovan Mitchell have to have a LeBron James, 2018 Game 1 type of game to even keep him in it? I mean.
Oh no.
if guys come out tight in game one and they're not scoring, does he have to go for 45?
But here's the thing with that LeBron team.
Yeah.
They weren't as close to talented around Donovan Mitchell has.
Well, they didn't play near
the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, not having to cover for Kevin Love, not having to cover, kind of George Hill kind of in the playoffs. He was getting older. So
Kevin Love played one series of excellent defense in his entire career.
Oh, no doubt.
And that's not a shot at him at all.
Yeah.
He's just,
he's not a defender.
Yeah. He's more of a floor spacer, shooter. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. A rebounder when he was in Minnesota.
No doubt. And so I think the defense will, unless people have games where Julius Randle might just go crazy from three or something, hitting setback threes, right? Jabbing and hitting threes, or Jalen Brunson might start getting hot. But I think the defense would most likely keep a minute until those guys loosen up, and it's like, okay, we're just playing basketball.
Yeah, get into the groove of the game a little bit.
Right.
Luckily, the NBA, it sounds like such a cliche thing to say, but it's a game of runs.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna fall down early. Hopefully they just have the wherewithal to stay in it and just keep playing your game.
No.
I don't think you have to do anything miraculous to come back from being down 12 or 15 in an NBA game. Maybe unless you're playing against the Warriors, who could just, back in the day when they could just fill it up, that might have been a little bit different. But yeah, I think you just stay within the framework of what they do. Like you said, they play a slower paced offense, half court offense. I think they can, they don't have to score quickly to come back, is my point. They can D it up and get some stops and things like that. So I don't really worry about them falling down too far.
With Garland as one of the best passers in the NBA, he can get Mobley and Allen easy looks right to start the game, where it's like I'll calm down, see one go through.
Yeah.
And then obviously Donovan's going to be Donovan.
Yep. I don't expect him to be too much of a different player. I don't think he comes out tight at all.
So I think we should be good. Cleveland Cavs playoff games, the crowd is awesome.
Yes. It's electric.
It's electric. I remember even in the play-in game last year, Caris LeVert got a standing ovation for fronting the post.
Right. Right. Hey, it's the little things for us now, man. It's the little things here, right?
Yeah. So
right.
I think we have a good team, and I think we have a good chance to win the series. I think with Caris playing his best ball, and coming off the bench, and with Darius and Donovan, the backcourt's explosive, and then that front court, man.
Yeah.
I think we're a year away from real contention.
Maybe.
With we do need to add. My thing is, with the mid-level exception that we're going to have in the free agency, get the best 6'6" plus 3-point shooter we can find and stick at the three.
Okay.
And that's
purely a floor spacer guy, or do you want him to play a little bit of defense too?
Obviously, I just need you. We had Lauri Markkanen playing the three.
Mm-hmm.
I just need you to try on defense.
Yeah.
Mostly trying.
Go out there and move your feet and breathe a little bit. Yeah, I got it.
How
are we looking time-wise? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, I just wanted to check. I think it's just about time to wrap it up, but I did want to get one thing. I want to go back to baseball real quick.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to pick all the series. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
Who wins the World Series? Who does it?
The Atlanta, Los Angeles Dodgers.
You said something different at the end there. You could be right. I think it's the Braves, man. I think the Braves are set up.
Homer.
I am a homer. I admit I'm a homer. But how much fun would it be if the Braves played the Guardians? That could happen. I mean, that could easily happen.
And the Guardians would win that series.
That's okay with me. Listen, I married an Indians fan. I think it's okay to say that.
Guardians.
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, Guardians. Thank you. Swear jar. Thank you. Swear jar. But yeah, I married a Guardians fan. She was an Indians fan first when they were the Indians.
No
I
doubt.
That's fair to say.
Hey,
yeah, if we get a rematch, I'm not even allowed to talk about 1995 in my house, man. I'm not even allowed to. Yeah, I can't bring up the year 1995. Anything personally that may have happened to me is just gone from my memory banks.
We had no chance in that series. We should have won.
Listen. I remember just real quick on that. I remember back in it was 1995, man. There was no. You remember? There was no internet, right? So I got the newspaper, and it had this big full page cutout, right? It was like the Braves, and then the
Indians at the time.
Yeah, the Indians at the time.
Yeah.
The current Guardians, whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah, right. He said Indians for 40 years.
Yeah, man, I'm old. I can't remember things. And so, listen, I remember looking at their offense, and I was a baseball guy. I paid attention to the American League, but I didn't watch that closely. And I remember thinking, okay, here's college plays, 320 with. Albert Bell, 50. What is this team? I was like, who are these guys?
Albert Bell, man.
And I was like, man, the Braves get back to the World Series and we're going to get swept because this team is a juggernaut. They're monsters, but good pitching beats good hitting.
Well, we should have won it next time we went to the World Series.
Yeah,
yes. 97.
Yeah, that was hurtful. That was hurtful. I can still picture my roommate, man, with his. I was in freshman college. He's from Cleveland. I can still picture him, man, with his head in his hands, just watching that ninth inning unfold, man. That
was an easy win. We were the better team in that series.
Yes, by far.
I want to hear a funny, quick story about Albert Bell. He was hitting, and the umps started checking his bat, and they took it to their office for they thought he had a correct bat,
right?
And they were gonna look at, and some of the Indians players at the time broke into the umpires. In one of the innings to steal the bat. So
they climbed through the ceiling tile. Yes, I remember that, man. There's nothing as wild as 90s baseball, man. Nothing on earth will ever be as wild as 90s baseball.
And you think about like Kenny Lofton. Man. I mean, you want to talk about flying.
My goodness.
I think he went maybe first to home on a pass ball, or was it second to home on a pass ball? Like,
he was ridiculous. Another guy with great instincts running the bases, man.
That team was awesome.
All right, so we settled it, man. The Braves are going to win the World Series.
Yeah, Los Angeles Dodgers are going to win the World Series.
We don't know who they are. My UConn Huskies, they're going to win. Now, it's not my Purdue Boilermakers. We're not boilering up anymore. We're huskying down. Is that a thing? Do we husky down?
We're doing it now. I don't know what the UConn thing is.
I don't either. We're going to find out.
Because they're a little young for UConn stuff.
You would be. Yeah, that was the 90s thing, too.
Yeah, Ray Allen.
You can still the women's game, though. You got Gino Ariel.
Oh, yeah. The women's always had players. They had Maya Moore and things like that. And, but, they kind of fallen off a little bit, but Paige will be back next year. Paige Buckets.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, Ohio State knocked some teams off.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, caused a lot of turnover.
That's right. But listen, hey, let's get out of here for the week, man. We don't want to hold you too long, but yeah, Braves are going to win the World Series. Out of here. What else? Final Four. UConn's winning that. Cavs are going to win 50 games.
Easy.
Cavs in 6 in the first round. We got a couple weeks to let that play out, but
Guardians going to win the Central.
Okay, I like it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. It's been a great show. Aidan?
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, man.
Good seeing you in person, baby.
Yeah, man.
You guys
are real.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what we can do better for you guys. Appreciate you guys watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.